So I'm just going to share my screen and just start with my presentation. Just want to check, Meg, can you see that okay?
Yes, thanks very much. Looks good, Karen.
Yes,
Great.
thanks.
Great. Thanks, everyone. So thanks for tuning in today. Today we'll be showcasing 5 of our operators from the Northern Territory. So welcome to our operators. We have Jess Lillis from AAT Kings. We have Renee Bjornata, sorry, Renate, I've got your name a little bit wrong there, from TFE Hotels. We have Richie Barlow from Crocosaurus Cove, Jeff Cameron Smith from Nautilus Aviation, and Daniel Sawa from Oaks Darwin Elan Hotel. So thank you for being here today, everyone. We've got quite a lot to cover, so I'll just give you a really quick overview of the areas that we're going to be discussing. So Darwin and surrounds, that includes the Litchfield National Park and Tiwi Islands. They, along with Kakadu, Arnhem Land and Katherine, are what we refer to as the top end, as you can see here on the map. So Darwin is the NT's tropical capital city. It has a beautiful harbour, lots of World War II history and a strong Asian influence because it's so close to Asia, and it's a really great place to base yourself if you're going to explore the top end. You can fly into Darwin from all of the main cities, but from the main eastern seaboard city it takes about 4 to 4.5 hours to fly in. You can drive, once you're in Darwin, you can drive down to Litchfield National Park. It takes about an hour. Jabiru and the Kakadu National Park takes about 2.5 hours. And Katherine takes about 3. You can also get to Darwin by rail, which is on the Ghan. The Litchfield National Park is about 60 minutes from south of Darwin. It's possibly one of the Northern Territory's best kept secrets. It is filled with stunning waterfalls and waterholes, and it's surrounded by a monsoonal vine forests. It's also where you can see those enormous termite mounds, which you may have seen in photos in the Northern Territory. And the Tiwi Islands, it's one of the lesser known areas of the Northern Territory. It's located 80 k's north of Darwin and comprises of 2 main islands, which is Bathurst and Melville, which are privately owned Aboriginal land. The Tiwi Islanders are known for their traditional lifestyle, for their Aboriginal arts and cultures, and for their love of Aussie rules football. They're a really friendly bunch, and the islands have the nickname as being the Islands of Smiles because of this. So to access the Tiwi Islands, you can get there by ferry, with Sea Link, it takes about 2.5 hours, and you can fly there with Air North, which takes about 15 minutes. So I want to hand you over to our operators now. We're going to start with Jess from AAT Kings. So thanks, Jess. I will stop sharing my screen now if you would like to start sharing yours.
Too easy. Hopefully this should come up. There we go. Are you guys all seeing that now?
Yep, perfect.
Perfect. So hi everyone, and thanks for joining us today. Karen, you just did a fantastic little introduction into the Tiwi Islands, and that is exactly what I'll be talking about today. So I'm super excited. My name is Jess Lillis. I'm one of the sales managers for AAT Kings and Inspiring Journeys. For any inquiries, or if you guys are ready to book, please jot down our details if you don't have them already. I will show these at the end of my presentation, so there's no rush to get them now. But as we know, the NT is rich in history and culture of our First Nations peoples. And today we'll be exploring one of my favourite examples of modern Indigenous culture through the AAT Kings Tiwi Islands Aboriginal Cultural Day Tour. But first, so just a quick reminder, I'm sure many of you are aware, AAT Kings operates over 20 different tours through the Northern Territory. We have a huge selection of day tours travelling to all of the locations that you see on that map. And we also have a great range of short breaks, which are pre-packaged, where we've taken our best day tours, pre-packaged them with accommodation, and they range from 2 to 7 days. Many of our day tours and short breaks can easily be booked together with the GAN, and this can all be done directly through us. And for more information, jump onto our website, as you see there, or you can jump on and order a brochure. This is our current short breaks brochure that also features some of our day tours. But back to our trip of the Tiwi Islands, which I'll be taking you all today. So come along for the journey. It's a full day immersive experience where guests are welcomed by the progressive modern day Aboriginal community of the Warramunga people. It's the perfect addition to anyone travelling to Darwin. So in a Woodurama, or perhaps within a periwinkle shell, the entire experience is 10 hours, starting at 7:30 in the morning, running to about 5:45 in the afternoon, and lunch is also included throughout the day. We are currently operating Thursdays and Fridays, or we will be from April through to November. And in those peak seasons, June, July, and August, we also operate on a Monday. This is a fantastic trip for all ages. Everyone will be involved and engaged. But in terms of mobility, while it's low level fitness, I do want to make note that some parts do require walking up a steep incline over dirt and sand and rocks, and up and down a short flight of stairs. Unfortunately, the transport we use once we're on the island is also not wheelchair accessible. So do be mindful of that for your clients. I'm going to point that out as we go along, but let's start our adventure, shall we? So we start in the morning right here at Cullen Bay Ferry Terminal. That's just 5 minutes drive from Darwin CBD. And we meet here for our 7:30 a.m. check-in and boarding. The boarding ramp is about 20 to 30 metres long, and as you see pictured, it is a floating jetty. So when there are extreme low tides, the boat is lower, causing the ramp to become quite steep. So I ask you all to watch your step as you are board onto the Tiwi Manitou. At 8 a.m, we depart for our 2.5-hour cruise to Bathurst Island. We are on board this high-speed catamaran. It's operated by SeaLink and is fully equipped with toilets, fully stocked kiosk, air-conditioned cabins, and of course, friendly and very helpful crew. Once we arrive at Warramunga on Bathurst Island, there is a short walk across the beach and up a slight hill to our air-conditioned vehicle. As I mentioned, it can be quite steep and we are walking over sand and small rocks, so please mind your step. We'll be greeted by our local guide and we begin our guided tour through the Tiwi community of Warramunga. We're taken firstly to visit the Patikiji Yali Museum with its interesting displays of traditional art and depictions of Tiwi Dreamtime stories. So it's a really great opening to our travels and really sets the mood for the rest of the day. We continue to the Early Mission Precinct, known for its unique Tiwi-style Catholic church. If any of you have seen the movie The Top End Wedding, and if you haven't, I strongly recommend it, but you might recognise this church from some of those scenes. Once we get up that short flight of stairs you see pictured there, and we're inside the church, that's where we learn about the colourful history of the early mission days and learn how the Tiwi people have blended their culture with Christianity. We then get on to my favourite part, which is actually spending some time with the Warramunga people, and we're immersed into their culture. It's pretty amazing. As you can see here, we've got Pamela and the Tiwi ladies, and they love welcoming guests to their island home, showing us what they're working on through their weaving and their paintings, and explaining to us some of the behind-the-scene processes as well. Our local guide and the ladies then demonstrate their totem dances and perform a smoking ceremony, which is all designed to bless us as their visitors. Being ever so welcoming and so accommodating, they're always happy to explain the traditions and the meanings and significance behind them so we can better understand and appreciate them ourselves. After this, we actually have the fantastic chance to enjoy a freshly made local billy tea and freshly made damper, which they've made for us. And this is part of our included lunch. After we've had something to eat, we then continue to the Arts and Crafts Centre to see the artists at work. Now is the perfect opportunity to purchase Tiwi arts and crafts, and at island prices, you'll be #making travel matter by supporting these artists and their local community to continue to thrive. Now, our final learnings for the day are about some of the complex rituals associated with the pakamani, or the mortuary ceremony. Out of respect for the deceased and these traditions, it's not appropriate for me to show photos on this, but I can assure you the entire ceremony is rather engaging, and it's all about acknowledging the status and prestige of the deceased and ensuring a safe passage between living and spiritual worlds. After saying farewell to our fabulous hosts, we are then taken back to the ferry to enjoy final views of the island and reboard our high-speed catamaran, departing Bathurst Island around 3:15 and getting into Darwin about 5:45. Wow, what a day. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I found those 10 hours went really quickly. Now, as I mentioned, this trip is a standalone day tour, but you can book it in conjunction with our Kakadu and Tiwi Island 3-night short break with overnights in Darwin and Kakadu. In addition to the day trip that I've just taken you through, there are so many other key highlights. If you joined yesterday's session, you would have heard some of these as well. The Yellowwater Billabong cruise has the great opportunity to spot saltwater crocs and jabiru. There's the chance to witness 20,000 years of local life at Noarlungi and Abir, all while exploring World Heritage sites with local Indigenous guides. And currently we've got this on special with our Hello From Here deal on sale until March 15. It'll have your travellers saving $200 per couple, making this must-do short break all that more affordable. Now, again, here are our contact details if you didn't get them at the start. So if you're ready to go, please let us know. If you have any questions, please reach out. But I do believe I might have a few minutes now to answer some questions that might have come through.
Thanks, Jess. It was great. Have there been any questions come through, or has anyone got any questions for Jess? Oh, there's one there. Can we see that? The option to fly. Is there an option to fly, Jess? Well, I mean, there is obviously, but part of your package?
Yeah. Not with our particular arrangements. Ours is all done using the cruise. But as you did mention, Karen, people can obviously get to the Tiwi Islands fine, but yeah, we don't include it on our portion.
Okay, great. Thank you. Meg, was there a couple of other questions there that came through?
Sorry, best time of year to fly was asked. Best time of year to go, sorry?
Best time of year to go? Yep. So we run from April through to November when we're operating 2 days a week. And then June, July and August are the most popular time to go. We're operating 3 days a week. So I'd say in that June, July, August period.
Also asking if there's any private tours and if there's hotel pickup from Darwin Hotels.
I don't believe we do hotel pickup, but if you want to reach out to me on via sales at aatkings.com.au, and I can just double check that for you. But I do believe it's all about the clients meeting us at the Cullen Bay ferry terminal themselves. And it's only 5 minutes from the CBD, so it's not that far.
Great.
And a question about whether there are crocodiles.
I wouldn't specifically know if there are crocodiles on the Tiwi Islands. I do know it's an option, absolutely, with Yellowwater Billabong cruise, but I'm not sure about the Tiwi Islands.
Yes, they are there around the island, but they won't. None of your tours don't go into the water itself, so people are quite safe.
Yeah, that's true. I know there was a question about private tours. We can definitely work with you to get that going through our custom groups department. So utilising, our suppliers and connections that we already have as AAT Kings and putting something together for you as well. So please do reach out to sales at aatkings.com.au and we can start those inquiries for you.
Great, that's most of them. Thank you.
Right, and just to let everybody know, the presentation will be on our website and the recorded webinar after the event. So someone was asking about access to your slides. So no, that is all good. Thank you so much, Jess. That's been really fantastic. So next up, we have Renat from TFE Hotels. Are you ready to go?
So good afternoon. Can you see me there?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. So my name is Renate and I'm based for TFE Hotels in Sydney in the head office. And TFE Hotels stands for Toga Far East Hotels. And possibly, we do have 7 brands. So out of those 7 brands, we have 3 in Darwin, which is Travelodge, which is our Vibe and our Adina apartment hotel in the Darwin waterfront. So I have a little presentation which I try to share with you, and then I'll talk a little bit more about what we're doing. So, can you see the presentation?
Not yet.
Not yet. Just a second. Okay, share. Is it there now?
Yep, perfect.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So, like I said, TFE Hotel Toga Far East, and I'm just going through the pictures now. So we have over 70 hotels and 7 brands, as I mentioned, but let's go to Darwin now. So Darwin waterfront, obviously, most of you are aware of this beautiful precinct. And once the conference center was established 10 years ago, or 11 it may be now, Adina and Vibe was one of the first hotels being placed in this precinct. So the purpose was obviously to service the conferences at the Darwin waterfront. So as you can see, it has a beautiful wave pool there as well. But I'm just continue a little bit. So for people who know Darwin, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's a little map here so that you can see Vibe and Adina next to each other. And it's actually a conjoined hotel. So it's one hotel so it's 2 hotels in one with facilities like the restaurant, swimming pool, spa, all can be shared. Okay, and so you can see them down here, sitting here, and then you see number 3 is our Travelodge Hotel, which is nicely presented in the CBD. But I'll tell you a little bit more about this particular property. The Vibe Hotel is a 4-star brand, very sophisticated, and there's a lot of new ones coming in the market in the States. Adina is a purely apartment hotel with daily service. So keep in mind, our apartment hotels will give you the same as a hotel service. Then we're moving to the Travelodge, which is a 3.5-star product and which has been totally refurbished by now, but more later. So now I'm going back to the Darwin waterfront, and here you have the entrance, very modern, and you can see left and right is Adina and Vibe. So the customer gets in here, checks in here, and they will be then sent to the relevant elevators to go to their floors. We have 121 Adina apartment hotel rooms, and we do have 121 Vibe hotel rooms. The apartments, which you can see here behind, next to the palm, they all have little balconies. So it may be a studio, it may be a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom apartment, all come with balconies. Every apartment has a kitchenette and little cooking facilities for the studio, which is the lead-in room. The 1-bedroom apartment is already coming with a fully fledged kitchen. So you have a separate lounge, a separate bedroom, and a kitchen, plus you have a washing machine and dryer. So always remember, Adina's, as soon as you hit the 1-bedroom apartments, you will have also the washing machines and dryers in the room. On the left-hand side here, you see our Vibe Hotel, and here you got purely rooms with a good view to the harbor precinct. The building on the right here, which is ironclad, is a multi-story car park. So your customer always have the option to park. Moving on, we have the view from our conference center. So the hotel in Adina and Vibe also have 4 function rooms in case you ever want to do a function welcome for your clients or just enjoying a party or whatever. Then you see here again the entrance to the Vibe and Adina. So this is actually leading directly out to the wave pool, the lagoon, which is a part of Northern Territory government. So here you can see how modern it is. Customers can just sit around and wait for their pickups. And in the back you here see some Aboriginal artifacts, which is all TV Island artifacts. The whole hotel actually streams with artifacts from TV Island. So then we're moving on. Like I said, they have their own private pool, spa, so people can relax here. It's a hotel facility, and it's free, of course. Then you have for Adina and Vibe, again, a nice restaurant. They serve breakfast in the morning from 6:30 till 10 o'clock. So this is for both Adina and Vibe. Customers share all the facilities. Here in the front, you see the little bar area. Then we're moving on to more of the view in the restaurant. Again, you see here TV Island lampshades. You see all the beautiful artifacts from that island. Here we have a gymnasium, which of course is very much popular with leisure clients and of course conference clients and business. And here you can see our first picture of a studio. So you can see it's like a hotel room. It's a bit larger and it has a kitchenette. Then again, this is Adina. This is a studio again from a queen size point of view. Quite large rooms, you can see 35 square meters. And here you do have a studio twin with 35 square meters and a lovely view. Here you got a 1-bedroom apartment, very stylish, furnished, smart TV, free Wi-Fi, and you got your own separate bedroom. And of course, this is the place where you have a washing machine and dryer as well. You can see a kitchenette here, which is good for travelers which are a long time on the road, and also they want to do their washing, of course. Now we're moving quickly to Vibe Hotel Darwin Waterfront. So that's another 4-star. You can see here you don't have the balconies, and again you have a nice view to the Darling Harbour precinct, and in the back actually the people looking at the embankment. So it's also a pretty view from the back of the hotel in the guest rooms. Here you have again the blue this time, which blends in with the sea of the Darwin precinct. Again, TV Island artwork. Here you got a triple setup. Just for your information, you can put groups in there, student groups. Here you see a twin share. And I'm just quickly going back to that. So I just wanted to tell you a few more little things about Vibe and Adina. So like I said, we're on the precinct. We are about maybe an 8-minute walk into the city center. Many people think, oh my God, it's too far away. We should be in the city center. But the hotel has been so cleverly designed. You basically have a lift from the Vibe Hotel. It goes up to a lovely little bridge, a wooden bridge. So the customer actually don't have to do any steps. They just walk over that bridge, and in no time they're actually in the city center without having, a strenuous adventure. The hotel is also in a precinct where you have a free shuttle bus, and the shuttle bus actually runs from the convention center to the deck chair cinema with a few stops in between. You do also have beautiful restaurants around the hotel precinct and little shopping facilities. You can walk to the wharf, you can experience the feeding of the fish. So for me personally, this is the nicest leisure district you can actually stay at. So now we're moving away. Oh, I forgot to mention the wave pool. There's a beautiful lagoon right in front of the hotel. And this lagoon actually has this wave pool which opens at 10 in the morning till 6 at night. It brings up to 1.2 meter waves. So just to give you an idea, and it's fantastic. So now we're moving to our Travelodge Resort Darwin. Many may know this basically as being the Travelodge Mirambina Resort. In August 2020, we done a total refurbishment of $3.7 million. It has 168 guest rooms and 32 townhouses. So there's a great variety of accommodation. So when you look at this picture, you can see how it has been re-established. It's actually at the other end of the CBD. It's opposite a big Woolworth supermarket. Again, that's a bonus for the customer because they can go shopping before they make their trip into Kakadu or Litchfield or whatever. And so you can see $3.7 million invested in this resort. And here's our entrance. Here's our pool. It's a lush resort pool area with even a waterfall. So that is very inviting. And then you have here a little bar on the side of these pools. And you can see it's very tropical in that sense. And here we go to the restaurant, which overlooks actually the pool area, which makes it also nice, lovely dining in the evening, and breakfast, of course, in here. Then, of course, everybody has to have a gymnasium. So you see that's nicely fitted. And here is our newly designed rooms, and very large rooms. This is the executive room. It's in the main building, but the whole complex is built around the pool. Here you do have the option of a twin configuration, and that's actually, again, a large room, smart TV, free Wi-Fi. Here we are now with the townhouses. So there's 32 of them. They're very ideal for for families. You can accommodate 5 people in here. It's a loft for your guests, like for mother and father. Then there's downstairs in the townhouse, you have a double bed, plus you can put in a fold-out bed. And they have a nicely refurbished new kitchen in there as well. So here you can see the downstairs area, very modern. And last but not least, I told you where actually the property lies. So it's in a very good position to walk into the city. And of course, with being in a COVID area, we have put everything in place to make your customers feel safe and welcome. So I think I used up my time. And so if you have any questions, I'm here for you now to listen.
Great, thanks, Renata. That's really interesting, beautiful properties there.
Yeah.
Has anyone got any questions? No. Doesn't look like there's anything coming through. What's your contact email there, Renata, just in case anyone wants to get in touch with you?
Oh, okay. So it's actually on the presentations I did, but it's
okay.
It's rbaumgartner@tfehotels.com.
Great. Okay, great. And I will be sending out all the contact details after the webinar today. So thank you so much for that.
It's a pleasure.
Now we're going to move on to Richie Barlow from Crocosaurus Cove. Richie, are you ready to go?
Hi everybody, I'm Richie here at Crocosaurus Cove. I'm the Sales and Marketing Coordinator here on site. Just going to bring up a little presentation for you. Hopefully our tech issues have been smoothed out this morning with the help of Karen. Okay.
Can't see anything yet.
Oh. That's no good.
I can see the screen though, so if you can bring up your presentation.
Let's try that again.
Perfect.
That's a bit better.
Richie, there's no sound.
Oh, I'm not winning today, am I?
You might just want to close out and start again.
There we go. Third time's a charm.
Welcome to Crocosaurus Cove, located in downtown Darwin CBD, home to over 200 saltwater crocodiles and over 70 different types of Australian reptiles. We've also got the Cage of Death, where you can go swimming with a crocodile. Now, come join me on a trip around the attraction and see what we've got.
So the video is a few years old now, but most of our experiences have stayed roughly the same with just a few little improvements along the way. But also for 2020 and 2021, we've been running under a COVID safe visit blueprint to make sure everyone's safe on site. We do have some restricted numbers for different events like the fishing for crocs and lots of hand washing stations like most places are running these days to keep hygiene on point. But most importantly for you guys is we are offering full refunds for any bookings that are interrupted by COVID related issues such as border closures or quarantine. But we are located right in the heart of Darwin City itself. So we're a 3-level interactive reptile experience. So we have 9 free shows across the day that come with our standard entry tickets, including our Big Croc feed show, which is a fantastic way to get to meet our big boys, as well as the fishing for crocs. No need to worry, there isn't actually any hooks involved in this, but the crocs need to practice the natural jumping abilities. So they come up and snag the meat off and off they go back into the pool. And there's also the opportunity for every guest to hold a baby crocodile and have a chance to have a photo as well. And our reptile house is the largest display of native Australian reptiles in the world. So we have a couple of shows throughout here, in here throughout the day, and also a chance to see one of the snakes feeding. And it's a good chance for kids to get interactive, or everybody to get interactive, meet snakes and lizards, learn how best to deal with them. Obviously, all of our poisonous guys stay behind their glass cages. We also have a rooftop billabong with a turtle show. And in the World of Crocs Museum, we have a display of the other 21 breeds of crocodilians from across the world. And the chance to go for a swim with the crocs in the little pool. This is part of the free package with entry. It's just beside our juvenile enclosure. But our premium experience here at Crocosaurus Cove is the Cage of Death, the chance to get in the water and swim with a 5-meter crocodile. So it's about a 15-minute experience, about 10 minutes of swimming in the water where we'll try and get the croc to swim around the cage, and then about 5 minutes of a feeding experience at the end where we'll try and get the croc to jump up beside the cage. So this can be either booked for a solo experience or 2 people in at once. It does book out quite early as we can only run this 11 times a day. With the nature of crocodiles, they won't expend that much energy, so we can't run them constantly. So yeah, 170 for the single or 270 for the double. And then we also have the VIP tour as another additional experience. Both the VIP tour and the Cage of Death include your ticket on entry. This is a 1.5 hour guided tour. We have an animal handler that shows between 2 to 8 people through the park, where you get to handle some of our bigger reptiles as a group. You get close experience from our handlers who like to share their knowledge with anyone that's keen to come in. And you also get the chance to feed one of our 5-meter saltwater crocodiles. At the moment, that's going with the big boy Bert, who was the star of Crocodile Dundee. And we're also running packages that are on offer with some other vendors across Darwin City, including the Big Bus Explorer, the RFDS Tourist Facility, and the Darwin Harbour Cruises. So these packages can be booked with us or through the other vendors. We're hoping to put this up on Resd to be easier to book quite soon. The Big Bus, Royal Flying Doctors and Croc Cove can all be used across a 30-day period. They don't have to be used on the same day. If you send your guests to us, we'll give them the tickets for the whole lot. But the Darwin Harbour Cruises need to be locked into a set date at the time of booking to ensure there's enough space on the boat and the departure times. This is Sally, our marketing manager, but you can also contact me through sales at Croc Cove. And that's the presentation.
Great, thanks, Richie. That was really good. We've got a few questions coming through, actually.
Fantastic.
So can you just watch someone do the cage of death without actually having to do it yourself?
Definitely. Here on site, I think it really enhances the experience when we do have people in the cage of death. Because of our 3 levels, you're able to watch from below the water and actually see through and see how the crocodile behaves. That's where you get the best photo opportunities as well. So yeah, it's definitely good to try and view from below for the first 10 minutes. That's where our photographer will be. And then we raise the cage up slightly so that people are sitting down, and they're sitting down at the height of the crocodile as they jump out of the water.
Okay, great. Do you need to pre-book for the fishing for the crocs?
No, so at the moment we have a limit of 5 people at a time, but we just will line people up outside, bring 5 people in at a time to do the fishing for crocs. It's offered twice a day with our big croc feed at 11:30 and also again at 4:30 in the afternoon.
Okay, great. And there was another question about how to book the packages. Do you know that? Do you just do that through your usual portal with
Yeah.
Trade?
So I think some people do have access to book it directly through Resdi at the moment. That's definitely something we're all working together as a team to try and smooth out the process. At the moment, I think most of the bookings are coming via the phone to our front office, as we can book it that way. But it's sort of a bit of double handling with the harbour cruises for the Darwin attraction pass. The others are quite simple. Hopefully within about a month, we'll have everything involved in the package through Resdi, and it'll be just as easy as logging on and putting it all through.
Great. Okay, great. Meg, were there any other questions come through?
I think you've got that
Great.
pretty much covered off. The couple of little ones like can the keeps moving. can the fishing with crocs be pre-booked?
Oh
Yep.
yeah, I think we got that one. Yeah, there was a few comments.
Cage
Sorry.
of Death. You need to be 15 years to 18 if you're accompanied by an adult able to go in the Cage of Death. Otherwise, you must be 18.
Great. And also,
and you have to be able to climb a ladder up and down. So there is some activity restrictions to consider, but most people are fine getting in and out.
Thanks, Rich. And also a question on whether you offer commission.
Yes, so that's one that would be booked through Sally, our marketing manager. We do have different commission rates depending on the vendors, so we do have some relationships established, and we'll try and set people up with Resdi if that's something they're interested in.
Terrific. Okay. Thanks very much, Richie.
Great. No. Thanks. I guess if people get in touch either with yourself or Sally, if they want to get booking with that, that would be a good place to start, or if they've got any questions.
Yeah, I'll update the PowerPoint with you, Karen. If you could post that up, and I'll put my details on there as well.
Sounds great. Excellent. Well, thanks so much for that. That was really interesting. Okay, next we've got Jeff Cameron Smith from Nautilus Aviation. Jeff, are you?
Yes, Karen, I'm here. Yep, ready to roll. So I'll just share the screen. Let's get the PowerPoint up. Wait a sec. Can you see that yet?
Yep, we can see your screen. We just can't see the presentation.
Okay.
Yep, there it is.
Is that the full screen? Okay. All right. Okay, how's that? All good?
Yep, good.
All right. Thank you for that. All right. Yeah, Jeff Cameron Smith's my name. From Nautilus Aviation. We're also operating the Helifish brand. You may know Nautilus from other areas as well. We've got bases in Townsville where we go over to Orpheus Island, do the transfers there for the house guests. Also Cairns, Port Douglas, we go Great Barrier Reef and Rainforest, even up to Cape York, and then obviously Darwin. So Darwin's what we'll talk about today. That first photo you see there's just one of our beautiful spots that we can land. Some of the sites around Darwin, the nature around Darwin really are the best experience from there. Now, I'll just go through a couple of things we do. The Darwin City Scenic Flights will be the first thing. Give you a bit of a look at what we do for Litchfield and Kakadu as well. And then what we do is some of the other iconic options in the area. So airboats, wetland cruises, the jumping croc cruise, then move on to heli fishing, which is the main event for us up in Darwin, and also give you a bit of information on the $1 Million Fish competition if you're not aware of how that works. So firstly here, the aerial view of Darwin City. Some of you may not have seen it from the air. You can see some of the hotels we've been presented to this morning. The waterfront precinct, the large flat boat-shaped object down the bottom left, there's the convention centre, the cruise ship terminal to the left of that, and that water park area we looked at earlier on, just in by the convention centre there. A nice wave pool, there's basketball courts for the kids, lots of stuff there. So a really lovely waterfront precinct, lots of restaurants as well. A bit of a lay of the land. Now, all of our tours, I'll just use this one as an example, but all of our tours have transfers, coach transfers included from hotels from Darwin out to where the H is on that map, which is our helicopter landing site. It's about a 40-minute drive out of Darwin, so we'll pick up the guests, take them out there. You can see from that map, you go right out to the right-hand side where Kakadu is, give a bit of a lay of the land. Excuse me. The Mary River is a very popular spot, just down from that a little bit, over to the left. A lot of fishing in there. And then over to Litchfield, which is the focus of this slide. So with the helicopter, what we can do is basically cover a lot of ground very quickly. So a Litchfield day tour is a popular option, which you can do for under $100 in Darwin. You can take the whole day doing it. You can go to different waterfalls, swim at the water holes. What we're offering is an experience in the heli. It's based in the heli. We're not getting out of the heli on the standard tour. We still see all the main waterfalls, and we do the whole tour in 60 minutes. So it's a great option for those that maybe are not so active. If they think it's too hot in Darwin at certain times of the year, we can get in the helicopter and take the doors off and let the breeze blow in. And we do have some private options as well, which I'll show you. But this one's really just to give you a bit of an idea of how the lay of the land. Some of the views on Litchfield Scenic. This shows you here one of the helis that we have with the doors off. Now, the doors on or off is optional. Normally, we'll say take them off is the best way to go. Firstly, as you can see, this guy's taking photos out of the back seat. It stops that reflection on the windows. You are strapped in, you've got seat belts, so there's no issues there. And it also lets the breeze blow through, so it's great natural air conditioning in the heli. So that's one of our smaller helis. That's a 3-seat Robinson. A lot of private tours as well. Now with Litchfield, this is a private tour we're doing to Upper Sandy Creek Falls. Normally 2 to 3 people, or 3 people max in this helicopter. This one's normally for couples. Up the top right of that photo is where we land. So we fly up some pretty cool landscapes, and that's a different helicopter, but in the same spot. So we call this one Proposal Falls because there's a lot of proposals, a lot of successful proposals go on there. The water there is nice and cool. It's great to swim in. There's no crocodiles. It's elevated enough that there's no way for the crocs to get in there. So great spot to swim. Kakadu, you would have heard of as well, the other major national park in the region. A bit more flying with Kakadu. That's 3 hours in total from Darwin in the helicopter, so an hour and a half each way. So we'll fly out to start with along the coast, across the Alligator River and the South Alligator River, seeing lots of crocodiles from the air. Near Kakadu itself, some lovely rock escarpments. Down to Kawinda where we have lunch, and there's a yellow water cruise we include in the day. Now, depending on the weather and the time of year, if it's really nice in the wet season, you can pay an additional $100, and we'll take you down to Twin and Jim Jim Falls as well, which they roar through during the wet season. And then the flight back over the wetlands back into Darwin. So it's a full-day tour still, 3 hours of flying, the hour cruise, lunch included, some spectacular scenery along the way. One idea there, that's one of the views. So some nice landscapes. Again, this is Twin Falls and also the yellow water cruise on the insert there. So beautiful spot to fly over. As I said before, we also tie in with a lot of the other operators in the region. Airboat tours there on the Mary River wetlands. See a lot of the native wildlife. So that one's out at Wildlands. So we can combine these options together and fly people around these areas in a full day tour. Again, this is another idea of how we can tie things in. So from Darwin again, transfers out to where it says start finish, flying out to the Mary River for the airboat tour, and then we'll come back to the jumping crocodile cruise after that, and then back to an iconic NT pub at the Noonamar Tavern for lunch. So again, something like that would probably take you 4 or 5 hours to drive. The flying time on that one is about 60 minutes in total, and then you get your airboat tour and jumping croc as well. So it turns into a good full day tour, but at a relaxed pace. the jumping crocs. That's on the Adelaide River. So yeah, they're getting a little bit close to the crocs there, but that is the largest concentration of saltwater crocodiles anywhere on the planet in this area. So there's days when there's that many, you could literally walk across the backs of them from one side of the river to the other. So you're guaranteed a croc sighting. Really good experience. Moving on to fishing, which is the main reason that we're up in the territory. Fishing season, we're right in the heart of it now. So as the runoff begins with the heavy rains, the barramundi really start moving around, looking for the bait fish, very easy to catch. March, April, May is our peak. But over those wet, hot summer months when people may not normally want to go to the territory, it's when we love getting them up there because it's the best time for fishing. So it really is a highlight for those hotter, stickier months. This is a metre-long barramundi, metre plus. So there is a bit of a club within the fishermen called the Meatery Club, and you get the metre-long barramundi. That's the prize fish. Again, a bit of a map, so I think it sort of helps with you to understand where we're going and why we would take a helicopter. You can see down the bottom left of that screen the area of Anson Bay in Daly River. That's about a 45-minute flight from Darwin. So to drive out there, take you all day. The nearest boat ramp's about 80 kilometres away. So the best way to get there is by helicopter. So we'll fly you down there. We've got about a dozen different sites in that region that we can fish, the river mouths and out on the sandy banks. And up to the top right, the Cape Hotham, that area, it says Coastal Creeks is our half-day tour. So you do either a full or a half-day helifish tour. I've gone and marked the pubs in there as well, because being in the territory, that's very important that you talk about pubs. We do have an optional pub stop on all of our helifish tours. So if you go out and catch a decent sized fish, or you've been fishing for a full day, you might have spent 4 hours fishing, you're going to get thirsty, we can drop into any one of those pubs on the way home and have a beer, land in the beer garden and have a beer. Some of the scenery here on the full day, again, some beautiful areas. This is a coastal area called Anson Bay. Beach landings as well, which are very popular. That shows the fleet of helicopters we have, or the style of the fleet. We have more than those helicopters, but that's the sizes. The one at the back's the R44, which is a 3-seat machine, and the one at the front, the Long Ranger, which we comfortably take 5 people with their fishing gear. So in this case, we had a couple of helis out there on the day. You can book multiple helis, but not every time you book a fishing charter, it is on a private basis. So if you have 2 people, it's a minimum 2. You're going to get your own private helicopter, your own private guide / pilot to take you through the day. It's another lovely location. So with the Long Ranger, with the bigger machine, where we are there is up nice and elevated, so it's above the river, so it's great for croc safety, which is obviously safety is number one with anything to do with aviation. But we're very cautious as well when we're fishing to make sure the customers are aware of the potential dangers, which is the crocodiles. Pilots do actually carry handguns for your information, so just to be doubly safe, touch wood, haven't had to use them. But again, the operation's been running 9-10 years with no incidents with crocs, so it is croc safe the way we operate it. This photo was taken just last week, so you can see the amount of rainfall we're having in Darwin now. See the clouds there, the monsoon's building, it's getting wet a lot of afternoons, we're getting a lot of rain, but don't let it put you off. It's when the territory really thrives. You get the water over those waterfalls, you get this grass growing thick here, green everywhere, and the barramundi in particular are everywhere. So great time of year to be up that way. The girls get involved as well, obviously. The biggest fish we catch this season are being caught by ladies, which is good. Again, another close to a metre-long barramundi in that case. A pub stop, as I was saying, if you catch one, I'll go back one. If you catch one of those fish and you're quite excited about it, then you can go to the pub and tell everyone about it. So that's Crab Claw Island, we call it. So you land a beach landing there, and you can have lunch there as well if you like. So the way the tours work, the way the itineraries work on the fishing in particular, it's very casual. We have a set itinerary which we'll come up with at the start of the day, which we'll tell the guests, but then they can tailor it as they go. So again, a full day where you've got 6 hours of fishing, you might fish for 3 hours and you've caught 20 barramundi and your arms are tired. So we'll take you to the pub for the rest of the afternoon if you like, or we'll just keep fishing all day. So it's very flexible. There is a really good competition going on. It's been going on for 6 years now. It's run by the NT government in cooperation with Sportsbet as a major sponsor. Now, what that is, the $1 million fish, if you haven't heard, they tag fish at the start of the season. So this runs from October through to the end of March. So it's getting through near the end of the season now, but there's still time. We've had 10 fish caught this season. Now the tags on the fish, they range from $10,000, actually $5,000, through 10,000 up to 1 million. So some of the fish, there's 7 of them in total, are tagged with $1 million prize. So you catch that, you take the million home. So this season so far, there's been 10 anglers that have managed to take home $10,000 each. And there's been one of the double tagged barra as well, and some charity fish. So you get money for you and also money for your favourite charity. So this costs nothing to enter. All you need to do is go online and register. You have to register. So if your customers are going to Darwin, even just to go for a walk around the city, if they grab a hand line, throw it in the water and catch $1 million fish, they don't get the $1 million unless they're registered. So make sure they register. So it costs nothing, and it'll pay for their holiday 10 times over. And a little bonus that we're doing through Nautilus Aviation and our Helifish product, if you do catch one of the $10,000 barra during your trip, we'll add $10,000, give you a bonus $10,000 on top of that. So a good little promo we've been running for the last few years as well. So although that goes through to March, we're fishing all year round. So again, March, April, May, coming up now into our peak fishing month. So it really is the time to be sending them right now. And that is me. So
Right.
Contact details there. Yeah, any questions at all, let me know.
There have actually been a few questions come through, Jeff, so let's whip through them quickly. Have you got brochures for your products?
We do. We're in the process of, with the whole COVID situation, we've held off on printing a lot of new stuff. We have got some brochures that we can send. If people want to flick me an email there, we can post brochures out. But we are in the process right this minute of redoing our entire website for the Nautilus group in total, which will include all the products we talked about. That should be up live hopefully within a month or so. But in the meanwhile, I can send PDFs out of brochures. I can send hard copies of brochures as well. So yes, certainly, if people need them, let me know.
What was the cost for the TTT tour?
$900 per person.
Brilliant. And are there fishing tours in July?
There are, yeah, all year round. Yes, we fish all year round.
Okay.
Just March, April, May is the peak for the runoff, but we're catching fish all year. Doesn't matter what time. On a quiet day in August, we might catch 2 or 3 fish. In March, April, May, you might catch 50. That's the difference. So it's it's coming into the peak now. We've got most days in April and May. We've got some bookings at this point, so it's a good season coming up. And it's the first time we've had decent rain in about 3 to 4 years. So all the fisher folk are very excited.
Great. Okay. There was just a question there about the cost, but I think all that information will be on your website.
Yes, correct.
You obviously pay commission to.
We do indeed. Yep. So through all different avenues, whether it's through the trade, through ITOs, domestic wholesalers, we have tariffs with as well, and just through your average retail agency if they're dealing direct as well. No issues.
Right.
Depending on the method, I guess, is we talk commissions with people. But yeah, certainly available.
Cool. We've just got a few more to go. Do you provide the fishing gear, or do people bring their own?
Yes, we do. Yeah. So I should have mentioned that all fishing gear, lures, and obviously the pilot is a trained fishing guide. So they're not just pilots that let you go. You can go out as a complete novice. We'll supply everything you need for the day.
Great. Cool. And there was a question about how many passengers you can take, but I guess you can just add helicopters the bigger the group, right?
Yeah, correct. So we've got currently we've got 3 Robinson 44s, and which are the 3-seaters, and then we've got one of the 5-seat long ranges.
Okay, so you could take.
We can also cross hire if we had a bigger group of 20 or so. We have cross hired from other companies as well, and yeah, let us know.
And you do you do heli transfers between Kakadu and Darwin? And
we can do anywhere a heli can fly, we can go, absolutely. So we encourage people to come to us with their ideas, even with fishing charters as well. We can do multi-day fishing charters, including some of the fishing lodges, Arnhem Land as well. We can get right out there. So yeah, absolutely.
Great. And actually one last question was, can you eat your catch, or is it catch and release?
As a rule, it's catch and release. That's purely to keep the fish stocks up as a number one. But you would have seen the size of some of those fish I was showing in the photos. They'll actually make the helicopter too heavy to fly so if you get too many of them. So as a rule, no, we put them back. But we have had one instance a year or so ago, and a gentleman from Melbourne booked. He came up on his own, so he paid for 2 seats, which is a minimum to go. He went on a full day charter for 6 hours of fishing. He fished for half an hour, caught a metre long barra in the first half an hour, and he said, I'm done. And I said, well, what are you going to do? So he put the line back in, caught another barra about 50 centimetres, and we took that on board, flew back to an outback pub, and they cooked it up for him. He sat there all afternoon drinking beers and eating the fish he caught. So that was an exceptional circumstance. We can do it legally, but as a rule, we put them back.
Okay, great. Well, that was great. Thank you for that. There's lots
My
of
pleasure.
interest coming through. So I guess if anyone's got any more questions, they can contact Jeff on his email address there.
Okay.
So thank you so much for that. Next,
Thank you.
last but not least, we've got Daniel Savoff from the Oaks Darwin Elan Hotel. Daniel, are you there?
Hi, Karen. Yeah, can you hear me all right?
I can, yep.
Excellent. I'll just jump in and share my screen. Bear with me one moment. Is that all appearing fine at your end, Karen?
Yep, perfect.
Fantastic. Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for sticking around for this morning's presentations. My name's Daniel. I work for Minor Hotels, trading in Australia under the brands of Oaks Hotels, Resorts and Suites and Avani Residences. So I'll jump straight into it because I am mindful of the time, but first and foremost, we understand that, being COVID safe is at the forefront of everyone's minds when they're traveling. And as a result of that, we've implemented our Oaks Shore Stay program. So essentially across our 60 plus properties across Australia and New Zealand, we've basically changed the way that we interact with guests to make it as seamless as possible. So everything from, making the check-in process as touchless as possible, QR codes in all our food and beverage facilities, and those sorts of initiatives to make your guests feel as comfortable as possible. So I just wanted to quickly mention that just to put your guests' mind at ease. Now, I'll just quickly touch on, we are here to talk about our property in Darwin, but as a general rule of thumb, if you haven't worked with Oaks before, we specialise and we're one of the industry leaders in apartment-style hotels, resorts and suites. So when you're sending guests to our properties, as opposed to other traditional hotels, we're really selling space and independence, so bigger room types, self-contained apartments with, hotel-style in-house amenities. But really what we're trying to do is create that home away from home. As I mentioned, 60 properties across Australia and New Zealand and specialising in hotels, resorts and suites. You've got the property footprint map there, which will be shared after this presentation. But obviously we're here today to talk about Oaks Darwin Elan Hotel. So the property itself is 226 rooms. We're located on Wood Street in the heart of Darwin CBD. Some of the on-site features include the restaurant. We've got a full lap pool and gym, on-site conference facilities, undercover car parking for those guests who are doing a self-drive itinerary. We also have a coach drop-off area available for touring and a 24-hour reception desk. So just a few quick features there on the property. To get your bearings though, so we heard from Richie earlier, so we're about a 10-minute walk from Crocosaurus Cove, only about a similar walk, 5-10 minutes down to the beautiful Darwin Waterfront Lagoon, which we heard about, and then obviously, a bit further out to places like Litchfield National Park and Kakadu National Park. In terms of the rooms themselves, as you can see from the images there, we're really selling a much bigger sort of room type, perfect for, independent travelers or, couples that are wanting that extra space, perfect for families or small groups. So all of our rooms have beautiful views, whether it be, depending on the perspective, back across the city, across the Darwin Harbour or Francis Bay. We have traditional hotel rooms, 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. Now the key sort of differentiator there is that your hotel room is, still spacious, but very much a hotel room. Whereas when you move into the 1 and 2 bedroom apartments, you've then got access to a full kitchen, a laundry, and all of those sorts of in-house amenities to create that home away from home. So for someone who is, traveling up to Darwin and traveling to those beautiful national parks, and we want to basically pitch ourselves as that home away from home where, your guests can come back, relax with space, with a living room, obviously a dedicated private balcony and all of those sorts of features. It's important to mention as well that all of our rooms have complete flexibility when it comes to room configurations. So king and queen split bedding. So obviously talking about a 2-bedroom apartment, you could have up to 5 people in there with the extra bedding supplied. So very spacious rooms. Depending on the clientele as well, all of the rooms have walk-in showers. So we do understand that for some touring groups and obviously for people with whether it be mobility issues or people are a little bit more elderly, then we do offer the walk-in showers. And as I mentioned, the laundry and balconies are on all apartment rooms. One feature I also like about the property is that as soon as you arrive, when the elevator door opens on your floor, the internal corridors are actually open. So even in summer or in winter, you get that beautiful subtropical climate coming right from the moment you actually exit the elevator and make your way to your guest room. I'll just flick through a few of these slides here just to get you, to give you a bit of an understanding of what the rooms look like there. So you can see there, that's the views from our hotel room harbour view. So you can see there's still spacious rooms, walk-in shower. Then if we move on to the 1-bedroom harbour view apartment there, you can start to see that's when the size really comes into the room type with the kitchen. You've got the fridge there, so you can go out and buy any sort of local produce, bring it back to your room. You've got the walkout balcony as well. And the 2-bedroom apartments, obviously, once again, with that extra bedding, you can have, either 2 king beds or 4 single beds, depending on the group. In terms of other premium leisure facilities on site, so we have got our on-site restaurant, which is open daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And in here, we do accommodate for groups and touring groups. So we can accommodate to either a la carte or buffet, depending on the needs. And also we have the capability to prepare box breakfast or grab and go lunches for those people who are getting up early and hitting the road to explore all the beauty that the region has to offer. We've also got as I mentioned, the lap pool and quite a well-equipped gymnasium as well. So everything from your free weights, cardio equipment, and yoga mats. As you can see, it's a few floors up, so you've still got that beautiful open view across Darwin City. We've also got, I know we're here to talk about leisure business, but for anyone who's looking to do an offsite training course, or if you've got corporate clientele, we've got huge on-site conference and event facilities. So 5 meeting spaces can cater right up to 400 people cocktail style, or about 270 theatre style. On that floor of the building, we've also got a dedicated catering kitchen. And as you can see, all the rooms have natural light spilling into the room as well. That pretty much wraps it up for that particular property. If you'd like to know any more on that property or any of our properties across Australia and New Zealand, we've actually got an area there where you can click to access a really handy property fact sheet. So on there, you'll find everything from your hotel features, the features of the apartment, and proximity information to that specific property. Otherwise, if there's any questions, just let me know, but you've got my details there as well. But thank you very much for your time, and we really appreciate it.
Thanks, Daniel. That was really interesting. We just had a couple of questions actually. One was about the wheelchair accessibility in the rooms. Are there wheelchair accessible rooms? Are they all accessible?
No, sorry. Yeah, so it's a great question. And yes, the answer is yes, we certainly do.
You do, great. Okay. And just one question about the pools. Are they cooled or are they heated, or how are they?
So they are, I mean, obviously in Darwin, we're never going to get super chilly temperatures, but it is at a constant, I wouldn't describe it as heated, but it sits at a constant temperature year round.
Great. Okay. Well, that's all the questions I think for now. So thank you so much for that.
Pleasure.
I'll just quickly wrap this up. I'm just going to share my screen with everyone just to quickly finish off. Just in terms of the product showcase, we've got a competition running. So for our agents, you just need to answer at least 10 of the questions that have been asked. The questions are on our website, which is the tourismut.com.au/trade/showcase. So we've got 6 great packages valued at over 23 grand for all of those. So you've got a couple of weeks to finish off answering your questions and get those answers into our portal. Just a couple of events that we've got happening at the moment. So as Jeff's already mentioned, the $1 Million Fish, that's wrapping up on the 31st of March, where you can literally snag $1 million. We have the Pajama Beautiful Aboriginal Light Festival that takes place in Alice Springs. That's from the 9th to the 18th of April. And the Taste of Kakadu, which is a really nice food, culture and cultural event that takes place in the Kakadu National Park, and that's at the end of May. For those of you who haven't heard of the summer sale, which you probably have, and this is actually just for our Australian agents, until the 31st of March, if you are booking any product, any NT product through one of our key partners here, Hello World Flight Centre or Hellos of Australia, for every $1,000 that your client spends, they can save $200, capped at $1,000. For you as an agent, you'll get a $50 incentive for every eligible booking, and for every 5 eligible bookings, a place you can win. An entry into win a place on a FMIL that we're running later on this year. For our trade training program, hopefully you've heard of this. Every quarter we have webinars similar to this, but just 1 or 2 with our operators, so that it's a good opportunity for you to learn a bit more about the Northern Territory. We will have some online training modules, and we always have really good prizes for this. And just in regards to the product showcase, just to wrap things up, we've got 3 more live webinars taking place, 1 tomorrow and 2 next week. They've all got different operators on them, so register now on our website. All the webinars will be recorded and uploaded to our website, so if you miss one, you can still watch it to answer those questions for our prizes. There's 9 pre-recorded webinars available now on our website, so please go and check those out. And just a reminder to answer the questions to be in to win. And our spot prizes, we've got 2 spot prizes. So if we've got a William Norris from Travel Partners and a Celine Bordonna from My Dream Adventures on the webinar today, we'll be getting in touch to get your details to send out your beautiful Leave a Body Jet Set pack. These are valued at $60, and these are made from a Northern Territory business. This is all very much sort of natural, vegan, very much very environmentally friendly product that we have on offer. So they're really great packs, perfect for traveling as well. And that is it from me. So here are my details if you need to get in touch about anything, if you have any questions. I will send out the contact details for all of our operators later today, so you have all those details on hand. So that's it from me. Thank you everybody for coming along today. I really appreciate you all being there, and we will hopefully see you again on the next webinar. So thanks very much, everybody.
Thanks, Karen.